Ahoy there, my children of the Force. Welcome to Star Wars Transmissions, doing our Episode 3, Season 2 of the Bad Batch breakdown. With me is the lovely Danny girl.
Hello.
And we are going to dive into all the excellent little tidbits and nuggets that we came across in this spectacular episode.
Yeah, this is a super fun watch. Loved how gritty and dark it was. It was great.
Absolutely, and I completely agree. Now, before we get into it, this is your damn spoiler warning. If you have not watched Episode 3, Season 2, Episode 3 of The Bad Batch, The Solitary Clone, get those booty cheeks out of here because we're going to be dropping spoilers left and right. Now's your chance to dip out and then come back and listen to Danny Girl and I talk about The Bad Batch. Flops Alt, welcome to the chat. Glad you're here. Sonia, welcome to the chat. Glad you're joining us. So, this episode, The Solitary Clone, as it's called, was fantastic from start to finish. This was an excellent episode, and I think correct me if I'm wrong if you disagree with me, but I think this is the best of the 3 episodes we've gotten so far.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. I think this was definitely the best of the 3. I was honestly thinking be the best Bad Batch episode, but I don't remember enough of last season, so, we're at least going to go with best of the 3.
How have we not done a rewatch of season 1? What, bro? What?
There's so many TV shows.
There is so many. That's very true. Right? What you're watching? I'm watching right now. Wednesday, Vox Machina. What else?
I don't know. I'm watching
Bob's Burgers.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're always watching Bob's Burgers though. I've got Abbott Elementary. I know that's not your jam, but I'm digging that. I'm also in season 2 of Dark.
Oh yeah, that's
from
right.
Netflix, which has been pretty awesome.
So yeah, this is to say
Station 11. Oh my god.
Station 11. How could we have forgotten that? Oh my. So this is to say that Danny Girl and I, we're diving into a lot of TV shows right now. So I guess we can give ourselves a little bit of a pass for why we haven't rewatched season 1.
Media consumers.
I will agree with you. If this is not the best episode of The Bad Batch, it's right up there as one of the best. I literally, at the end of that episode, was like, damn, that was a very heavy episode and an excellent episode. And it was one that I was very, very like, it kind of left me like, how do I want to describe it? I was almost like, man, that kind of hit me. That was like you said, it was a heavy episode. It was a deep episode. There was action in it, obviously, but the moments that were most impactful to me were not the action-packed scenes. And I guess that just shows how excellent of an episode it was, that the moments of action in the episode, to me, kind of take a back seat to some of the other scenes that we got throughout the episode.
I think it's also an attestation to the music, the score of the episode.
Oh my god, right?
Like
Kevin Kiner, man.
Takes you in all the feels.
Brilliant. And it's also a credit to Dave Filoni, to the other producers and creators of that series, that, man, Kevin Kiner has been, I want him to score every Star Wars project. He is his music is spectacular.
You need to retract that statement, because then you wouldn't get Ludwig again.
That's true. They do bring their own unique qualities, right? Each of these composers and musicians bring their own unique style musically.
And those two are both killing it.
Though they are great, but I will say, my musical taste. Kevin Kiner, especially with some of like the dark ambient stuff that he's doing in these episodes, in his scores, aligns a little bit more closely with the stuff that I listen to than Ludwig. But I mean, Ludwig is great.
I mean, you can't find anything more catchy than Da-na-na, da-na-na, ha-ha, na-na-na-na-na-na.
He did the Book of Boba Fett too, right, Ludwig?
Yeah.
I think he did, right?
Yeah.
Which that one's bumping too. You guys can't see me, but I'm bobbing my head right now. But yeah, so Kevin Kiner, his score in the episode was absolutely fantastic, and so I walked away from that episode just being like, yeah, this was dope. This was a lot of fun. It was thematically a very heavy episode, but yeah, definitely one of, if not my favorite Bad Batch episode so far. So before we get into the nitty gritty, what do you think? A nice little recap, a Danny Boy special.
Yep, I'm gonna I'm keeping my mouth quiet this time.
The hot and fast recap.
Yep.
So we're going to do a nice recap. It's going to be a quick one. I want to get through the recap quickly because, like I said, I want to talk about some of the themes and some of the juicier tidbits of this episode.
All right. Do you need me to time you? I'm just kidding. Ha ha ha.
No timer. All right. So the episode opens and we see that the Empire has come to the former Separatist planet, or I guess at this point you could say still current Separatist planet of Desix.
Mm-hmm.
It is being operated by the governor Tawny Ames.
Yep, that is correct.
And she's essentially holding out. She does not want the Empire to come in and take control and occupy Desix because they were a former Separatist planet, and she's not about that music, man. And so quickly things escalate very, very fast. And we learn that Governor Tawny still has essentially a battalion, I would say, probably some squad, a battalion of Separatist battle droids that are still in operation. And she winds up taking Governor Groton, is the Imperial governor's name, which now that I'm thinking about it, did they murk all the stormtroopers?
When?
In the beginning of the episode?
No, they did. I know the droids were dumb. And we're like, we killed them all. And they were absolutely incorrect.
Well,
they said a bunch were out of commission. Or like,
we're not the battle droids. I'm talking about the stormtroopers. So when the battle droids and Governor Ames capture Governor Groton, he's with a contingent of stormtroopers. We don't know what happens to those I'm assuming they all got murked.
Probably.
Maybe. Captured, murked, maybe.
I thought you meant the group that came with Cody and Crosshair.
No. So
we're just thinking about different troopers.
So Governor Ames takes Governor Groton captive, and then that's where we then transition to Coruscant, where Vice Admiral Rampart gives Crosshair his next mission. He's going to go on essentially a pretend diplomatic mission. They're going there in the guise of diplomacy, but really it's, hey, we're going to neutralize Governor Ames and her battle droids, and we are going to take Desix for the Empire because the Empire does not negotiate. He tells Crosshair that you're not ready for commanding a squad yet. You're going to be commanded by Commander Cody. So we get the return of our homeboy Commander Cody, and we learn that Crosshair was not going to be able to command the squad because he was marooned on Kamino for 32 days. So I'm assuming we're probably within the maybe 2 months after the end of, somewhere between a month and 2 months after the end of season 1. Yeah. Where this episode has taken place would be my thought.
That would be my thought too, because if he was marooned there for 32 days, although I feel like it might be longer just based on how much older Omega looked.
Yeah, she does, but yeah, not that.
Maybe he was on med, and then he was on med leave for a while. Crosshair.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's correct. So yeah, so Commander Cody's going to be leading the squad, and once they get to Desix, the battle droids shoot down the clone troopers ship, and essentially a battle ensues between the Imperial stormtroopers, the Desix battle droids, which eventually leads to this moment where Governor Ames is holding Governor Groton at gunpoint, a blaster point, I should say, and Cody is trying to plead with her, saying, "Hey, listen, we've seen enough war. Let's try to do this amicably and peacefully. Let's let this occupation happen. The Empire is trying to bring peace to the galaxy," and Ames knows that that's not the case. And sadly, before any sort of peaceful resolution can happen, our homeboy Crosshair executes Governor Ames at the command of Governor Groton, which then leads to the Imperial occupation of the planet. At that point, then, we get an excellent moment between Crosshair and Cody, where essentially Cody is struggling with what he's just done, which leads him to go AWOL. And Crosshair finds that out from Vice Admiral Rampart when he's being given his next assignment. That recap wasn't too bad, huh?
No, that was excellent. You hit all the major points. That was spectacular.
All right. That's what I'm talking about, baby. So now, when Danny Girl and I were, after we'd watched the episode and we were like, all right, what do we want to talk about after we do this recap? The thing that we both settled on that we wanted to touch on first was the title of the episode, The Solitary Clone. The Solitary Clone title is so freaking perfect because it refers to so many things that transpire and that we see throughout the episode, right? And primarily, that title is being referred to, or excuse me, that title is a reference to both Crosshair and Cody. They're both the solitary clones that the title is talking about, but each in their own individual ways.
Right. Oh, this was so good.
Yeah, this was an absolute excellent scene.
Also, just look at the lighting. Like, what a great job from animation.
The animation has been incredible in the series so far. So, as I mentioned, the title Solitary Clone, it's referring to Crosshair and to Cody, but again, each in their own individual ways. And think where we meet or where we see Crosshair at the beginning of the episode. Our homeboy is in his quarters at the... it is now called the Imperial Inspectorate Headquarters on Coruscant. It used to be the Republic Center of Military Operations, I believe was the title. Check my notes here.
Yeah, good, because I never would have remembered those.
Republic Center for Military Operations is what it was formerly called. It is now called the Imperial Inspectorate Headquarters. So that's where we see Crosshair when he's on Coruscant, when he's eating in the mess hall, when he's speaking to Vice Admiral Rampart. He's on Coruscant at the Imperial Inspectorate HQ, because after obviously the Empire takes over, they're not going to call it the Republic Center for Military Operations any longer, right?
Yeah, just probably not.
But I love how the episode opens. It opens with a solitary clone in a dark, dingy room.
Oh, poor Crosshair.
Right, and just how sad that is. But I also love the mirroring that we see in these scenes in the beginning of the episode, and the mirroring that we see the end of the episode. Right, here's an image of Crosshair right when we first see him, when he's getting out of bed because he hears that terrible like chime.
Oh, the alarm? That was awful,
right? Here he is at the end of the episode. Notice the difference, right? So here he is at the beginning, here he is at the end. Notice the difference in how high up his head is. I do not think that that's a coincidence at all. I think that's purposely to show how at this point him being a part of the Empire is beating him down and wearing him down.
Absolutely, especially after some of those conversations that him and Cody had this episode. I think he's maybe starting to, I don't want to say realize the error in his ways, but maybe even just think about what his what his decisions actually mean to him and the galaxy at large at this point.
Absolutely. Dr. Mad Studio, welcome to the chat. Glad you're here, my friend, all the way from the UK. Danny Girl and I said this before. We love the Solitary Clone. Absolutely our favorite episode of season 2, possibly of the Bad Batch thus far. It's a spectacular episode. But I agree with you, Danielle. The choices that Crosshair has made, you could see they're visibly now starting to weigh on him.
I feel like he also looks like he has more of a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yes, he absolutely does.
The second screenshot.
Right, so I love that you're seeing, we start the episode, him all alone in his quarters, and it's dark and dingy. By the end of the episode, we're getting the same exact image of him in his room, and we could see just how much lower his body is sagging from the weight of his actions and the weight of his decisions.
God. Can I just say, like, think of how the season, or episode 1 of this season opened with, like, the other, his brothers and Omega on a mission, not necessarily having fun, but like in this beautiful world.
That's a great point. That's an excellent point, because when we see the Bad Batch in the opening of this season, they're on this beautiful, bright lit planet. Omega is enjoying her time on the Marauder, studying Imperial starships, right? The Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo are being goofballs trying to steal whatever it is they're stealing or whatever it is they're trying to get, right? That's a great point. If you juxtapose the images that we get of the first moments where we see the Bad Batch versus Crosshair, absolutely. And I don't think that absolutely was done purposefully, I would imagine, right? Then we get this scene of Crosshair. He wakes up to that horrible chime, goes to the mess hall, and how solitary and isolated he feels in the mess hall, eating by himself, completely looking like none of the other clones around him. He's not only the way his face looks, but also in his outfit. And then you could see the look of disgust on the two clones' faces as they're looking as Crosshair sits down to eat, and then they get up and leave.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Poor Crosshair.
Oh, bro, you know me. I'm a ride or die for Crosshair.
I know.
I was so bummed for Crosshair this episode.
I have hope that he'll have a redeeming arc. But yeah, I just felt obviously he can't fit in anywhere.
Yes, absolutely. He is absolutely feeling very isolated. He does not fit in with the Bad Batch. He does not fit in really with the Empire at this point. No. I definitely think that we are to assume that our homeboy feels very isolated at this point in time, which again goes back to the title of the episode, The Solitary Clone, right? So now here's an image of him at the end of the episode again, not looking like any of the other clones around him. He's eating by himself. He's in his, I'm going to totally say, the early stages of Death Trooper armor. I 100% think that Crosshair is one of the, maybe now, based on what we're seeing in season 2, he might not wind up being a Death Trooper like I thought in season 1, but I definitely think his squad, Crosshair, is kind of the predecessor to the Death Troopers.
Maybe he does, and that's his breaking point.
Oh, that's an excellent point.
Where plant those seeds early, get that, make him start questioning, and then he's like, okay, you get this. Maybe Vice Admiral Rampart will be like, you have this great new assignment, and he's maybe leading, like, you've earned to be the leader of this new special Death Trooper.
I like that, Danny. I like that a lot. Danny Girl has heard me say this a bunch. I talked about it in our last live stream. Crosshair, when we first met the Bad Batch in the Clone Wars season 7 episodes, Crosshair was like, that's my guy. I'm all about Crosshair. He's dope as shit. And I was so bummed when he wound up leaving the Bad Batch in season 1. So I am like hoping we get a redemption for Crosshair and he rejoins the Bad Batch.
Before you change your screenshots, though, I just want to point out, if you look in the background, how all of them are all solitary clones.
Wow.
None of them are sitting with anybody else.
That's an excellent point.
How sad.
How sad is that?
Yeah.
Ross Bevan, welcome to the chat, my friend. So Ross says the chats between Cody and Crosshair in this episode were amazing, especially his last words to him. Even I was like, damn, Crosshair in this one. Yeah, the scenes between Crosshair and Cody were really what made this episode for me. We really made this episode feel very impactful and feel very special. It was the moments we get between those two was great. So continuing on with the symmetry between the scenes, the opening and the beginning, right? Here's Crosshair again at the beginning of the episode. He's getting his assignment from Vice Admiral Rampart to go to Desix, and by the end of the episode, it's the same thing. And one of the things that I had mentioned to you after we watched the episode was like, and I don't know if this was the intention of when the episode was created, but just kind of like, this is just another day for Crosshair. This is just another day for this stormtrooper who's got to go and do atrocious acts, war crimes, just horrible things. And it's just another day at the office for the Empire. It's just another day for this stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Right? Which, how sad is that for Crosshair?
Just another day of shooting governors down when you try to bring them peace. Yeah, not great.
Yeah, just really, really, really sad. And we do see some almost asymmetry, I want to say, between Crosshair, Crosshair and Cody. Maybe not asymmetry, maybe not, that's not the right word, but we see at the start of the episode how things kind of flip-flop.
Yeah.
Cody at the beginning of the episode is talking to Crosshair about, I picked you for this job. I wanted you to be a part of it. He's telling Crosshair about how clones across the galaxy are starting to go AWOL. He mentions Captain Rex is a person that's gone AWOL. And that's where he gets he says the line, good soldiers follow orders. And you see, Crosshair is, I didn't get the sense that Crosshair was disagreeing with him as like, yeah, though, I'm leaning towards going AWOL or anything like that. I felt like he is absolutely an Empire man still.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think that was more of a Crosshair being Crosshair and just kind of like the
yeah,
agreeing but not saying much.
I agree. And I love how when we see these two speaking, first off, I should probably mention I was so excited when we got to see Commander Cody. I remember last year, was it last year that the show premiered? Was it last fall? Whenever it was that it initially premiered, when the show was announced, I was like, oh, I hope we get to see the return of Commander Cody, because we haven't seen him since Revenge of the Sith. It would be great to see Commander Cody appear. So it was really cool to see Commander Cody in this episode, although I was surprised to see him. I don't know, I guess I was expecting him to be in the white and yellow armor that we've seen him wear previously.
What I was thinking too, but I know he was in the one trailer.
Yes, he was in the trailer. Okay. And I'm in the trailer, because it's been a while since I've seen the trailer, I forget. He must have been wearing this gray and white.
But yeah, I was thinking the same thing, that he would be in Revenge of the Sith more armor, or the armor he was wearing then, which I guess doesn't really make sense. But
no, but that I was kind of hoping we would get him rocking his yellow and white. And so yeah, at the start of the episode, Cody's an Empire man. He's all about the Empire. He believes that the Empire is bringing peace and justice and maybe not prosperity, but they're bringing peace and order across the galaxy, and he's all about towing that company line for the Empire. And it's just interesting to see how that slowly whittles away as the episode progresses.
Oh, absolutely. And we see that in the conversation at the end, and just feel like the look on his face when when Crosshair shoots Ames, like it's like, oh my God, what am I allowing to happen?
Absolutely, right? And that moment, man, the music in that moment just how dark it is in that moment, seeing Governor Ames kind of like basically just accept like, I'm about to get murked. I'm donezo. Very sad, man. And I knew, obviously, you know what's going to happen, right? You know the governor is going to get killed. There's no way that the Empire is going to allow this planet to operate independently. So we know the governor is going to be killed and the Empire is going to occupy the planet, but still, it still felt like, damn, like I was not expecting Crosshair to just shoot her the way he did.
No, I guess not, but I mean, that just shows that he's willing to do anything right now to get the job done.
Absolutely. Right? And that moment weighs very heavily on Crosshair in the waning moments of the episode. And again, just
when was this screenshot taken? Like what part of the episode?
This one is actually from earlier on in the episode. No, I take that back. It's after essentially now the Empire is beginning to occupy Desix, and Cody, Crosshair, and their squad are getting back on the shuttle to head back to Coruscant.
I talked about the lighting. I feel like this is just a perfect example of fighting between light and dark. And
I'm so pissed at myself because I meant to take a screenshot of Crosshair in Rampart's office and I completely forgot. Same thing with Crosshair. In Rampart's office, you see half of his face is blacked out and half of his face is in shadow, half of his face is in light. Obviously, that is completely done on purpose, right?
Absolutely.
These two characters that are having these moments where now they're questioning whether they support the Empire are both being shown in different parts of this episode with half of their face covered in shadow, half of their face covered in light. Absolutely, that is done intentionally.
Let me say that's usually a good,
absolutely
age-old, I don't want to call it a trope, but like,
yeah, well, a motif. It's a motif, yeah. And I'm so pissed that I didn't realize this with Cody.
I was gonna say, did you do this on purpose?
No, absolutely not. I meant, like I said, I meant to take a screenshot of Crosshair and then just forgot as I was going through other stuff.
You got your Cody with this one. That worked out.
But yeah, just look at his face right there. Right? And then that leads to the next scene where basically Cody is like, bro, we're not droids. We're clones. We're people. We get to make our own choices. And when we do, we have to live with those choices.
I know. I was like, oh, is he thinking about Obi-Wan right here?
Wow. Again, and I did not even think about that.
I'm going deep, bro.
Because they did mention the Jedi, right? Yeah, earlier in the episode.
They sure did.
Hot damn, Danny girl. I didn't even think. My thought was I'm just thinking about he's contemplating what just transpired on Desix, and that's weighing on him heavily. But yeah, you could absolutely be right that he's now feeling remorse and doubtful for what he did to Obi-Wan.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I gotta start watching episodes twice every time.
Absolutely, man. I didn't get a chance to watch it a second time, which stunk. Usually I do, but I didn't get to it today. But yeah, that's an excellent point that he, on top of questioning what happened on Desix, he might be questioning what he did to Obi-Wan.
I mean, I feel like this is just clearly, I feel like this is maybe the bigger catalyst to his thinking and to the next steps that he's going to end up taking is to going AWOL. I don't think it was one thing gone. I just think this was like, okay, that was too much. Like we just tried to get a peaceful diplomatic, or I know that he knew, or Cody knew that it was going to end up being fake, but it doesn't mean there has to be bloodshed.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. So Dr. Mad Studio says, I do wonder if there'll be a clone uprising. That also happened in Legends. Yeah, so we talked about this last week, that in Legends, there was a clone uprising that led to the destruction of Kamino. And after last week, I was like, during our breakdown last week, I said that I didn't think that there would be a clone uprising. Now, I'm kind of wondering, could those cards still be on the table? Because we hear all these clones are going AWOL.
I think so. I think they were, if anything, at least planting that seed a little bit more.
Yeah. I think now, more than at any point in this series so far, the possibility of a clone uprising seems more like a possibility.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. I like the idea of, hey, there's a clone uprising because of all these clones are unhappy with what the Empire is doing and how they're treating people across the galaxy, and they're going to try to fight the Empire. That would be awesome.
I agree.
We do know Rex is going to make it out alive in this series, but someone like Cody, we don't know. I looked up, I can't remember his designation. At the end of the episode, Rampart says you're going to be working with CC whatever number. I looked it up. He's never appeared. That clone has never appeared before in any other Star Wars content. So this new clone that we're going to see whenever we see the episode with Crosshair, that'll be a new clone. But it'll be interesting to see what other clones are introduced this season that we might know or might recognize. Could the possibility of a clone uprising still be on the table? And I would be for it. I think now it's definitely more of a possibility. Ross Bevan says, Obi-Wan is where I went even from the look he gave when Crosshair spoke about the Jedi being traitors. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't. Obi-Wan never crossed my freaking mind once. I'm going to blame it on work. Work was crazy today. I'm going to say it was because of work. I didn't think about my boy Obi-Wan. So a couple other things I want to point out.
Ready.
With Obi-Wan, with our boys Crosshair and Cody. Take a look. So this is at the beginning of the episode, right? Crosshair is just finding out Commander Cody wanted him for this job, right? Look at where they're positioned on screen, right? Now look at their positioning at the end of the episode after they've returned from Desix and how their positions in the frame have flip-flopped.
Yeah, I know you mentioned this to me a little while ago, but I like this even more. Like they're closed off to one another, that they're like about to choose different paths.
And you could see, so let me go back to that screenshot, see if you could see it. You can see it there very clearly, how there's that beam of light separating them. And then that light is maybe not as symmetrically separating them, but still separating them. Even still, I think the point is supposed to be, right? Look how close they are here. So look how close they are here. That gap between now where they stand, ideologically speaking.
And how Cody's close to the light right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
That was... I really liked how the motifs, the themes in this episode, and how they kind of mirrored the beginning and the end of the episode and how things changed. Thought they did a really good job with this.
I didn't get to watch his video, but I saw Star Wars Explained posted a video recently. If you're not watching Star Wars animated series, here's why you're missing out. This episode to me is like a prime example why, if you're not watching the animated series, you're so sorely missing out. Because man, this is like, this is animation, it's a cartoon. But like you said, think about some of the themes, the motifs that we're talking about. This is great storytelling. This is great visual storytelling.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And just thinking about it, like, Rebels is what got me really into Star Wars when you encouraged me to watch it way back when.
Welcome to join the dark side, Danny girl.
I had been a Potterhead growing up.
Is that what, like...
I don't know. I feel like I've heard it tossed around.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So, Harry Potter fandom. Obviously, Star Wars was cool, but I was never super into it. But man, watched Rebels or started watching it because I don't remember.
And Rebels has some of my favorite Star Wars moments in it. So yeah, this episode to me is like, this is why animation, the animated series are a must watch for
Absolutely.
Any Star Wars fan. But yeah, so going back to the two images of Cody and Crosshair at the battle memorial, which again, think about the setting where they are, this memorial, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. I also think that makes these scenes that much more impactful, knowing that all the lives of these clones that died in the Clone Wars were for absolutely nothing. Just so some guy that looks like a shriveling nutsack could control the galaxy.
My God.
During my live stream last night, I was talking about how Sidious looks like a shriveled nutsack.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not. Oddly enough, though, I when I was going through my images last night of Sidious, from Return of the Jedi to Rise of Skywalker, our boy looks like he's got a glow up, man. He looks his skin looks better, not as wrinkly, and I know they didn't have him.
The Sith cloning.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. One other thing I want to talk about. Well, actually, before we move on,
yeah.
Any last thoughts on Crosshair and Cody and where they stand ideologically in terms of their beliefs of the Empire at this point in time?
No, I think we covered it, unless you have something else you want to touch on. Just because I really liked how they are both coming to their own determinations, and I think Crosshair's just going to take a little bit longer, but I'm going to have faith, whether it's him saving his Clone Force 99 brothers at one point or rejoining them. I think Crosshair's got a little more growing to do, but I think at the end of the day, he'll come back to the light side.
I really hope so. I'm holding out hope. You know, he's my boy. He's my boy, Crosshair. So I'm really hoping.
Dude, what a great character arc.
Yeah, I'm not always one for like redemption stories or wanting to see a character be redeemed, but Crosshair is absolutely a character I want to see redeemed, because I really like Crosshair a lot. So again, sticking with reasons why I love Crosshair, I had to take an image of this. Was like one of the dopest moments in the episode. He's literally getting a goddamn tank is firing at him and he doesn't even budge an inch.
My God, I know. I was like, I know what he's doing, but what is he doing?
I was like, yo, this is so sick. Just makes me love his character even more. Today I was like, I 100% have to get a Crosshair in that dark armor toy. I'm going to find one.
Absolutely.
I have to buy one.
That would be super cool. Yeah, he looks great.
But I love this moment where you see the droids they've just shot down the Imperial shuttle, and Crosshair is basically saying, I'll be your diversion, Cody. You take the boys, head out yonder. I'm gonna give you a diversion. And he's just shooting at the tank, knowing it's not gonna do any damage, just so they'll divert their attention to him. And then, like I said, he's getting shot at, not moving a damn inch, and then just shoots down the barrel of the tank and blows it up. So sick.
It was really cool. So
freaking dope.
I mean, and look at the way he did with the mirrors at the end. Like, that was going up the spiral staircase is really cool too.
I really liked. I also, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I really like fight scenes in spiral staircases. I feel like they're always really fun, and I really like that scene. I thought it was done very well, especially in the moment. I thought we were both saying, I think Cody's gonna die here. I thought Cody. I don't know. I gotta get that out of my head, because I thought Tech was going to die last week when the music dropped. I thought the music cut out, so I'm like, oh my God, Cody's going to die here. This is going to be awful. Luckily, he was shot in the arm, but I thought our boy was about to get murked.
Not this time. Not yet.
But yes, I did really enjoy those, like, I can't remember what he calls it when he tells Cody to throw it. Discs? No, there weren't discs. I can't remember what he calls them.
I know, I can't either.
But they're what a cool tech. What a cool technology to have.
Not plates. Sorry, I'm still stuck on.
I love too how he uses the one on the wall, tells Cody to throw it, so it pings from the wall to the Cody's, whatever, the one that Cody throws, and then it just ricochets from one droid's chrome dome to the next. Mm-hmm. So cool. bro, Crosshair is my guy, man. Crosshair is my boy. All right. I want to talk about some Easter eggs that I saw, because there's several. One of them we could say is those little like disc things, because we saw those initially in season 7 of the Clone Wars when they were with Anakin Skywalker. But any last thoughts about the episode?
I really loved it. I'm gonna think about these little damn discs until probably as soon as the stream ends, and then I'll be like, oh, it's bah!
I know.
But it's okay.
Not
a big
that's
deal.
how my brain will work. We'll be laying down ready to go to bed. I'm like, oh my God, I remembered what they're called.
No, I'm not going to let it get to that point. I got to look it up before then.
All right, let's do this. Let's go to the chat quickly before we go into Easter eggs. So, Dr. Mad Studio, no doubt Crosshair has been in far worse battle situations compared to what he went through in this episode. Yeah, that was one of the thoughts I had when I was watching this. Like, this is nothing for Crosshair. Our boy's been through way more deadly battles. Although, I mean, dude, that commando droid almost got him. He had to have Cody, which that was enough. Dude, that moment was dope.
Yeah.
Cody freaking taking out his vibro blade and just murking that one droid and then saving Crosshair. That was dope. Ross Bevan says, I think that was done intentionally. We only saw villain Crosshair in season 1 and now get to see him how we originally did, as a potential sign that the redemption is on the cards. That's a good point.
I like it.
Ross, I do like that. That's an excellent point, that we're kind of reintroduced to Crosshair from season 7 of the Clone Wars, but in season 1, more of a antagonist, so to speak, to the Bad Batch, so that we could potentially see his redemption arc. I'm all about it.
Loving it.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's dive into my Easter eggs.
Dan's Easter eggs.
Oh, dude, the very first one I want to talk about, literally opening seconds of the episode, opening moments of the episode, I'm like, oh my God, that's Ralph McQuarrie's design. So those stormtroopers that we see there are wearing a helmet modeled after, let's gonna make this
bigger, make it bigger.
Blow that up a little. So that's concept art from Ralph McQuarrie that he made of stormtroopers, and this is like the Dave Filoni special. The two specials that Dave Filoni loves doing. He loves reusing concept art from Ralph McQuarrie, and sadly, our boy loves retconning things. That's the Dave Filoni specials right there.
As long as he's wearing a cowboy hat while he's doing it.
I also noticed this. Have we seen this symbol before on the stormtrooper shoulder there?
I don't think so.
With Canon, his is like the M or whatever. I'll have to look into that. I thought about that earlier. I was like, was that reused for something?
No, I'm going to go with I don't think so. But I don't know.
So yeah, this is concept art from our boy Ralph McQuarrie. So the moment I saw those stormtroopers, I was like, oh my God, that's Ralph McQuarrie concept art. That is so dope. I was so excited to see that. And I didn't know this. You could actually buy toys of Ralph McQuarrie's concept art stormtroopers, which now they are actually like canon.
That's cool.
Stormtroopers, which I love that we're just seeing the Empire slowly grow to the Empire that we see during the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, my next Easter egg. So we kind of touched on this before. When Commander Cody is talking to Crosshair, he tells Crosshair, hey, good soldiers follow orders. And we first heard that term, or that phrase, I should say, in season 6. I can't remember the exact episode. Season 6 of the Clone Wars, where our homeboy Tup, sadly, his inhibitor chip prematurely kicks in, causing him to, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of the Jedi, the Mikian Jedi that he kills. She was a twin.
The one was green, the other's pink, right?
I think so. Oh my God, this is going to kill. Again, it'll be like 12 o'clock and we're laying down ready to bed and be like, oh my God, that's her name. But yeah, and anyway, so the first time we hear good soldiers follow orders, Tup is saying that as his inhibitor chip is going off prematurely. We then heard that a bunch in season 7 of the Clone Wars. Obviously, once the clones inhibitor chips go off, and I'm trying to think, did we hear them? We had to have during the beginning of the Bad Batch in season 1.
Ooh, I don't remember.
I'm gonna say that we did, but I can't. Like we were saying before, I haven't rewatched season 1, so it might have even appeared last season when we see Order 66 go down. Another Easter egg that I love this one. So this is at the end of the episode. Governor Ames, she's got a blaster held to Governor Gronton's head, and she's saying, hey, essentially this will not end peacefully. How I know that is when I was working with my friend Mina Bonteri, we introduced basically legislation or a bill or whatever it would be called to try to end the war. And your Chancellor Palpatine at the time, denied our request to end the war. Mina Bonteri, we saw in the Clone Wars, and we first see her in season 3 when Padme and Ahsoka go to Raxus Secundus, which was the capital of the Confederacy of Independent Systems.
CIS?
Yes, the CIS, Raxus Secundus. I love that planet name because every time I hear it, it makes me think of Dune.
Oh, gotcha. Yep. Ooh.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that Easter egg because one, you're getting the name drop of Mina Bonteri, who we first saw in the Clone Wars, but also that, like, hey, Mina Bonteri and we were trying to peacefully end the Clone Wars, and your Chancellor did not want that to happen. And we know why, right? We know why. Of course, Palpatine didn't want the war to end. He needed the war to continue. So I love that moment. I thought that was such a great moment. We also get this scene when Cody is basically giving the briefing on, hey, here's our mission. We're going to be going to Dexys. They've got a squad of battalions, and we hear a clone trooper say something to the effects of, hey, why didn't they shut down? Weren't they all supposed to shut down? And Crosshair makes a comment of like, hey, they might have been reprogrammed. So what the clone is referring to about the clones shutting down from Revenge of the Sith, after Anakin has gone and murked all of the separatist leaders, I should say Vader, not Anakin.
Yep.
Vader then sends a hollow message to Sidious saying, I've just wiped out the separatist leaders. And Sidious says, awesome. Now you're going to contact the Trade Federation and tell the Trade Federation to shut down all droid units immediately. So that's the shutdown.
Gotcha.
That the clone was referring to. That I was like, oh hell yes, that's dope. Yeah, that's
taking me through it, Dan.
Is it a deep cut? I don't know.
No, but that was a good.
I like that one.
That is a good one.
Another. I mean, I don't know. Would you call it an Easter egg of them talking about Captain Rex going AWOL?
I would say, yeah, if we're going to talk about Mina Bonteri, we might as well talk about Rex. We haven't seen him this season or anything.
Yeah, we saw him last season, right? That him going AWOL is the reference to the end of when Rex and homegirl Ahsoka are fighting for their lives on the Star Destroyer before they crash on an unidentified homeland. So at this point, Captain Rex is presumed dead AWOL. Well, not dead AWOL, same sort of thing, but that's what Commander Cody was referring to, the fact that after that moment, after Order 66, no one knows what's up with Captain Rex as far as the Empire goes. Alright, I got some more good.
what you originally said you had, this is really, you added a couple since the last time we talked.
Yes. Well, so this next one I talked about a little bit earlier, right? This memorial, which the moment I saw that, I was like, oh hell yes, because we see the battle memorial, I believe for the first time in the Kona Wars in season 5, where Ahsoka is being chased down.
Mm-hmm.
Because we see Ahsoka go to, at that point, the Republic Center, military operations. But as I mentioned earlier, this memorial was essentially built to honor and commemorate all of the clones that were killed during the first Battle of Geonosis. The first Battle of Geonosis is the battle on Geonosis that we watched that you see during Attack of the Clones. The second Battle of Geonosis was seen in Clone Wars in season 2. But this memorial is to commemorate those stormtroopers that died in the first battle. Which again, I love that we see. We get some excellent conversation between Crosshair and Cody in front of this memorial commemorating the loss of the clone troopers from that battle. Which again, that battle was, I don't want to say pointless because it was all for Sidious to gain power, but it was kind of sadly for naught. All right, last one.
Okay.
I don't know if this is an Easter egg, but I had to include this because my first thought when I saw this
is it
Jeddah City, baby, from Rogue One. And we've seen similar shots and other stuff.
Yeah.
But either way, like, how dope is that image?
The left-hand side of it kind of reminds me of when they're over, or when they're on Exegol in the, or am I totally thinking of the wrong thing? When they're,
when they're coming out of,
yeah, the ground and like all the smoke and stuff. Yeah, not the same thing, but
it's also making me think of when Han is doing about to do the Kessel run, you see the Star Destroyer come out from the fog.
Very ominous.
I'm literally thinking about making this my desktop. That is such a sick shot. But those are my Easter eggs. And as I said, this last one might be a little bit of a stretch, but that's the first thing that I thought of when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, that reminds me of Jeddah City from Rogue One. The shot of the Star Destroyer over Jeddah City.
Very cool.
That's all I got for Easter eggs. So, excellent episode. I'm sure there's a bunch of others, deep cuts that we missed.
There's always more to unpack. I feel like they always have things hidden, which is awesome.
All right, let me catch up with the chat here quickly before we move on. So Alvaro, welcome to the chat, my friend. Glad you're joining. Dr. Mad Studio says Dooku was right about the Republic being corrupt, but hardly anyone knew he was a Sith Lord. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Governor Ames say something about Dooku was right? Yeah,
she did.
She did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which Dooku was right about the Republic being corrupt because he knew that Darth Sidious was behind him. So, yeah, Dooku was right, but Dooku was essentially cheater. He was scheming and cheating.
I was say cheater, pumpkin eater.
I was trying to think of the damn rhyme and I couldn't think of it off the top of my head.
I got you.
Cheater, pumpkin eater. All right. Dr. Matsudy also says Lux Bonteri's fate remains unknown. Yeah, I don't think we know. So Lux Bonteri was Mina Bonteri's son.
Mm-hmm.
That was the boy that Ahsoka had a little bit of a crush on. He winds up joining Saw Gerrera and his band of rebels on Onderon as they're fighting. I can't remember, like a corrupt monarch or something on Onderon. Wouldn't shock me if we see Lux Bonteri appear down the line as one of Saw's partisans.
I feel like that would be cool because that would just be, you could really put whoever in that and say that's Lux Bonteri. And
Absolutely.
It would be cool for people who know and otherwise not a big deal.
Let's see. Alvaro, I'm still mourning the death of Tapoka City. Yeah, that was a pretty sad scene, man. I watched part of the finale from last season, and that scene was definitely like, yeah, that's a tough one. I think that's a good spot to end it on. Any final thoughts? Any final comments?
This episode was awesome. I hope we get more episodes like this, or just heavy themes, dark and gritty. Not that I didn't love last week's episodes, but man, I feel like Disney just keeps churning out. This is a great episode.
Give me more Kevin Kiner dark ambient. I want Kevin Kiner to release a dark ambient album. So I can listen to it.
That would literally be all you would listen to for like 3 months straight.
I would definitely be all about Kevin Kiner dark ambient. All right, so it's almost 9 o'clock. You know what time that is, Danny Girl. That's Halo time.
Yep. That's Halo time and scream at the computer screen time.
That's Halo time. That's Danny Boyce yelling at his computer as his teammates act a fool.
Like, are you sure do you really like Halo? Sometimes
Halo's gonna make my lifespan shorter. For sure.
Yeah.
It's probably taken some years off my life. I'm getting some gray hairs, and Halo is definitely a cause of some of those grays.
You don't have as many grays as I do, though.
But I love it. That's why I love it.
What?
That's why I love Halo, baby. All right.
It's making you stressed out.
It raises my blood pressure. If you haven't liked this goddamn video, you jabroni, let us know in the comments what your thoughts are about what Danny Girl and I liked about this episode. Did you agree with us? Did you disagree with us? What did you think of the Easter eggs I caught? Were there any others that you caught that I might have missed? I'm sure there were. So let me know down in the comments, because I would love to know some other Easter eggs that I might have missed. Danny Girl and I will be doing these breakdowns every single week, probably somewhere between like 7 to 8 p.m. depending upon our schedules. And I'll be doing weekly Q&As, breaking down your questions that you guys send to me. So make sure to check that out as well. If you haven't, also subscribe to Star Wars Transmissions. It's dope. We are closing in on 30,000 subscribers, which I'm
Nuts.
like, don't know how that happened. Don't know how that many people actually enjoy listening to me, but it's pretty freaking cool. So with that said, my friends, thank you for joining us this evening. May the Force be with you, and stay nerdy.